What up, YouTube? I know it has been it's been a while. I was home for 5 days, and now it's been 7 days since then. Um, I have been on a night rotation. It's not rotating, it's just been at night. Like, what time is it? I am in Arkansas. It is 5 o'clock. I've actually been here since 1, but dealing with some stuff. My son has still got this concussion problem, and it's just normal life shit. So I'm headed back to Houston tomorrow. I'm actually routed to go to Dallas, and then they got me dropping off in Conroe, and then I am going home for the weekend because um so side note, sorry I have missed y'all. Um I have been doing some soul searching. So I actually made a video 3 different times and just decided not to upload it because I really couldn't talk about something. And I hate when people are like, oh, I wish I could tell you, but like, I don't like that because then I'm just like waiting and waiting and waiting. And then like, you don't tell me and then I get pissed off. So I never, I never uploaded the video. And please excuse my hair again. I said I'm letting it grow out. It's bothering me. I feel fucking. And today has been rainy. I came from Virginia down through Tennessee, and now I'm in Arkansas. It's fucking stormed all day long. I saw so many wrecks. People driving stupid crazy. Like, it's just been insane. So, Swift didn't tell me that I couldn't talk about this. I'm not going to use, names, not that y'all would know who the people are. We're just going to say, other Swift employees. So I've been having, it was brought to my attention actually by, okay, let me just set the scene. I'm driving along one day doing my own shit, and then all of a sudden I, what's the point of do not disturb if text messages still come through? So I'm driving along one day, and then all of a sudden, you know, somebody tells me to check my messages on Facebook. I check my messages on Facebook, and then all of a sudden, I have pages and pages and pages of messages um, from a Swift employee, and I'm just like, okay, the stuff in the message was quite alarming. It wasn't very shocking based on the person that was being spoke about, but it was alarming information nonetheless. So I'm conversating with this person, and then another person that we have as a mutual um, other employee of Swift, and really just trying to address the situation head on, but I'm not about drama. So that's my biggest thing is I can't stand drama. I'm 40 fucking years old. Like I don't I didn't like it in high school, and I sure as fuck don't like it now. But my family was mentioned, um, and possible threats to my family and their safety. So I kind of had to get involved. Um, Not kind of, I had to get involved. Now, keep in mind, my family, at least my dad's side of the family, and I am very close with all of my cousins from the important part of my family, where my family is in the public eye. Most of them are quite famous in the Tejano world, and we deal with nonsense like this on a regular basis. I personally don't because I'm not involved in that life or that industry. They just happen to be my family. So, since I became an activist many, many years ago, I have dealt with the occasional threat and threat on my life. I've had people show up on my front porch before demanding that I do X, Y, and Z or whatever. And I have dealt with crazy, stupid, insane people because my life is so public. But one of the things that I love about trucking is that I don't deal with people. Like I just don't. You get your loads, you drop, you hook, and even if it's live, like all you're doing is exchanging paperwork, exchanging numbers for your loads, and you're fucking in and you're out. I choose to do this because I've been doing this kind of interaction with the public pretty much since back in the MySpace days. Like my life is an open book. So when I get this, message about, these threats, again, I wasn't shocked, but I did think that Swift needed to know about it definitely. And while Swift, I do know now, I know, has a security team made up of retired military and police officers and stuff. I didn't know they had that thing, but they do. And then, of course, HR gets involved, and it becomes this huge thing that I really wasn't interested in. But I have not been on YouTube not because I'm scared of any of these people. I don't live my life in fear. That's just not how I roll. If you want to come for me, at least come for me. So whenever I was doing those videos where I was documenting exactly where I was going to be and showing my thing, all of that was quite strategic. I was doing it on purpose to kind of bait these people because they do work for Swift. And if they wanted to get routed where I was going, it wouldn't have been hard. But I'm still here. So, but when you start talking about these people knew specific things about my children, how they get back and forth to school, my son's concussion that I haven't even posted on Facebook. Like nobody knows that my son has this huge head injury from fucking 6 weeks ago. There was just specific details that I'm now making public, but nobody, not even my daughter that's in the Air Force, knew about some of these details that these other people knew. So there was definitely warrant for concern. And, Swift gets involved, their people get involved, and, I'm shocked that they don't know about at least one of these people. Um, so anyways, I think that I've given enough detail to where you can understand there was a safety concern for not only myself, but my family. And like I said, when it comes to myself, I would ask you, come for me. Leave my fucking family alone. You got a problem with me? Bring it on. I got enough rage and anger to fucking go off on a fucking gorilla and walk out wearing his fur. Like that's just who I am. I live a very interesting life, and when you start talking about my children, we're going to have a serious problem. That should be with any parent with their children, but with me specifically and my family and my family's background, you're going to have some problems that you really just don't want. So I go to Swift, they do their thing, and I have been sitting back silently waiting for Swift to do anything about it. As far as what I was told as of earlier today, still being investigated. It's been weeks. And I am actually headed to Houston to discuss with my terminal manager there what the outcome of this is going to be, because it's not something that I'm willing to tolerate. I don't think it's something that anybody should be willing to tolerate when somebody's family is being mentioned and involved, that's bullshit. And, you know, the HR department, the guy that I was dealing with, quite frankly, should not be in human resources at all. He has no personal skills whatsoever. Um, and it was kind of like it was a waste of his time. And while it does sound like a bunch of drama, when people that you don't know specific things about your children that have happened in recent weeks that your own family doesn't even know about, that's not drama, that's a problem. That's called having a stalker. That's called a person who is mentally unstable. There's a lot of flags that go up, or should. But with this HR guy, he was just like, fuck yourself. I mean, practically after out of our 3 hour conversation, I mean, that's honestly all I really wanted to say the entire time, because he really, his give a fuck level was in the negatives. I can say that. So I've really been laying low. I mean, I'm still working, doing my shit. I just came off of a 1,700 mile load, and I'm finishing up a 1,200 mile load here tomorrow, and then I have another 230 something mile load to get me to Houston. And then I'm taking off for the weekend because I need to evaluate my position with this company. I don't have a problem with the miles, obviously. I don't have a problem. I haven't had any problems with Swift as far as what people told me I would have. The problem that I'm having with Swift is this kind of concern, dealing with children, dealing with employees knowing stuff about my children that don't even know me. It's fucking weird. It's illegal. But because it was brought to me by another person, and this person, of course, the hearsay is being thrown around a lot. And I get it. From a legal standpoint, everything is hearsay until, God forbid, something happens to my family. And then the hearsay becomes evidentiary support. Um, Having a famous family, we know the law. We know both sides of the law. So again, when I tell you I'm talking to somebody in a position that deals with public relations in the employment sector, I don't know where this guy went to school, but he doesn't know a fucking thing about public relations, human resources. He doesn't know anything about being a professional dealing with people in the workplace or probably any other place. Um, so I have brought this concern to my terminal leader, and actually one of my friends, one of my instructors that I had in Corsicana, and still being investigated. So at this point, I am going to my terminal tomorrow to discuss my further involvement with a company that can allow this type of behavior to go on and continue. And I'm just like supposed to, sit around and wait to see if something happens. That's not cool with me. So that's where I've been. My off time was great. Thank you for all the love and support and concern, and prayers and all of that for my mom. She is obviously still in a very, very bad state of grieving, as she should be. Um, it sucks that I'm not home and can't be there. She lives in Louisiana. That's where I'm originally from. But my family is in Houston, and then all of this stalker predatory shit came about, and it's literally just been one hit after another. And the one thing that I can control, I really can't sitting behind this wheel. And so I was out minding my own affairs, running my miles, doing what I do and what I've come to love. But because this dude in HR wants to, pussyfoot around and play judge, jury, and executioner, I guess he's pro-life because he's not executing very well. Um, I am reevaluating my situation and my position here with Swift. And this channel is about the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I'm just keeping it real. And in some sort of way, kind of hoping that these people watch this video to know if Swift hasn't contacted them, I know who you are and I know what you've said, and just heed this warning. You don't want to come to Kingwood, Texas. Like, you just don't want that type of drama. So don't bring it. You move on with your life. I don't know you. I don't give a fuck about you. I don't care at all. But how or why you know stuff about me, I don't fucking know. How or why you know stuff about my children, I don't fucking know, but that I do give a shit about. Again, my life is public. I don't give a fuck what you know, what you find. I've had to go through and make all of my social medias private. I've had to cut out people. Also, if I had friended you on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter from the trucking community, you'll probably find that you have been removed because you may or may not be associated with these people. One person in particular, and I don't need that kind of drama in my life. Whether you are or you aren't, I can't. There's not a way for me to 100% verify whether you are or not associated with. There's one in particular individual that I am really nixing people from. So if you got booted, it doesn't have anything to do with you personally. Even going back to MySpace, my shit has never been private, ever, 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 ever. But when you're dealing with mentally disturbed people, um, it's just exhausting. So my family and we have taken the steps and the extra measures to make sure that there's extra security around our children, and that there's somebody with them at all times. And my children aren't stupid people. There was once when my daughter was on the truck with me, we were stopped at a rest area, and this little old lady and her husband pull up in a car, and they were trying to get her to come look at their dog in the car, and she screams across the parking lot, "You're not going to take me into the sex trafficking ring." My children were raised in a how can I say this? I raised them to be adults. Like, they're allowed to be kids, and they were able to be kids and live the great kid life. But I didn't talk to them like gaga goo goo and pee pee poo poo. Like, did you shit yourself? Do you need to take a piss? Hey, can you go get me a beer? My kids were raised as adults, and they talk and communicate as adults. And because of the family that I come from, they were raised around a lot of adult things. So my daughter, who's her birthday is actually Wednesday, she'll be 12. um you know and they were raised with a mother that's an activist who takes them to marches, and they're very knowledgeable when it comes to the streets, and they're very knowledgeable when it comes to their books. So she starts yelling to the lady, "You're not going to take me into the sex trafficking ring. I know what you're doing." I was like, oh my God, how embarrassing. So my kids are always on guard. And they're a little fucking pissed off that they have to have the added security. And it's annoying because we really try to keep that part of our family away. It's good to have them. I mean, I guess when you're being, I don't know, stalked, threatened, whatever. But anyways, I haven't enjoyed the way Swift has handled the situation, so I am on my way to Houston to further discuss this along with some other concerns. And depending on how this conversation goes, I might have to donate a lot of Swift clothes to somebody else who could use them. When it comes to your family, there is not a fucking thing in the world that you should ever sacrifice. And I feel that I should have already dealt with this situation. Nothing thus far has come of it. I don't want y'all to think that there's like an active threat on my family, but the truth of the matter is, we don't know. One of these people I know for a fact is just mentally disturbed. So it's just one of those things. You don't know until unfortunately something happens and you're like, okay, I guess I could see where this was coming from. Um, when it comes to my children, I don't need it to get to that point. So I really need Swift to step up to the plate. And if that's not going to happen in, I don't know, the next 24 hours, I mean, it's been a few weeks already and it's still being investigated. I don't need that kind of going on in my life. So that's where I have been. I've been on the road, and while I'm not on the road, I'm tending to stupid shit that nobody should ever have to fucking deal with. But there's always going to be crazy people in the world. There's always going to be people who think that they are in a place in life that they're just not. There's always going to be people that put on a show, especially for social media. And in reality, they're just old and broke and, you know, trying to, I don't know, and scare people with their weird bullshit. And I don't know. If I keep talking, I'll say too much, so I just can't. It's not worth it to me. The person doesn't deserve the time of fucking day. And quite frankly, I just hope that they just fucking, I don't know, drive off the side of a fucking mountain and die. That would be awesome. That would be best case fucking scenario, actually. Um, so that's where I have been. Um, and that's where I am at. So I guess the next video that I upload, oh, don't need to read that out loud. Today, also, awesome news. Um, it sucks. I don't know how to put pictures on here. I've tried to set up the live so many times. I have my computer. I guess I don't have enough signal. And then it told me I needed to download some kind of broadcasting something. I don't know how to do that shit, and I'm not interested, and I honestly don't have time for it. So I guess when I'm home, I'll try when I'm actually hooked up to Wi-Fi. But I actually posted my pictures. Actually, I could probably pull it up on my iPad. Today is 1 year, my 1 year anniversary since I had my surgery. Now, you might see some stuff in my truck because I just got done eating. Tonight we had steak. I let it cook in the oven. I slow cooked it for 6 hours. It fell apart so beautifully. And we doused it with some ghee, which is a type of butter, and mushrooms, and it was fabulous. Um, so 1 year anniversary, my surgery. I have lost 150 pounds since surgery. I'm gonna pull up the pictures that I posted on social media since now I can't really trust anybody on social media. Oh, we're not watching the Mayans right now. Back away from that. It's a good show, by the way. I'm all about the biker lifestyle. I was kind of raised that way, so. Bikers and gang members. Ooh, Kylie Jenner. All right. All right. So Instagram looks a little funny on here. Actually, let me pull it up on Facebook. It's easier that way. Instagram acts really funny when it comes to using an iPad. All right, so I'm going to turn this around. Holy fuck balls. Let me do it like this because it's just going to fall. All right. So I'll read it real quick. All right. So it doesn't matter if you can see my name and everything because it's fucking private now. It's fucking annoying. The first picture is from 5 years ago at my highest weight, 396 pounds. I was on 19 medications. So the list of stuff I have, this is not written in there. My people on Facebook already know. I have lupus, I have fibromyalgia, I have rheumatoid arthritis, and I'm a 2-time cancer survivor, ovarian and brain cancer. So that's why I was on so many fucking medications for so many years. The last picture was from 1 hour ago. I had just showered last night and I took the pictures because I knew I was going to post them for today. The scale pic is from 7 days ago, which is Wednesday morning of last week when I came back on the truck. 1 year ago tomorrow, which is today, I made the decision that has literally changed my life in ways I never imagined. I do live a complete keto lifestyle now. It took me forever to give up potatoes though, LOL. And honestly, I truly don't miss one thing that I ever gave up. I have more energy now than I know what to do with, and I have no mandated medications. I do still suffer from anxiety, and I have an as-needed medication, but have rarely had to use it. On the day of surgery, I was a size 30 and I weighed 362.4 pounds. Today, I am a size 16, and as of last week, as you'll see on the scale in a minute, I weighed 213.4 pounds. And then it just goes on. You know, I still get shocked when I look in the mirror. My lupus, fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis are all in remission since December. I have no more swelling, no flare-ups. Blessed to have my life back, and just thanking everybody that's been with me through the crazy 10 years of depression, yada fucking yada. Let's see. That was 5 years ago. It's it's fucking shocking to see because I never saw myself, and coming from the beauty industry, like, I wish somebody would have told me, but even my husband told me, and I was only 145 pounds 18 years ago. I was always very athletic. Um, so when people are just fat because they eat a lot of food, they're not this kind of fat. Me, I'm very swollen. Everywhere it looks like I've been stung by a bee. That is from the autoimmune disorders. All this swelling, like this stuff was hard as a rock. It doesn't move. That's not because bitch eats too many fucking burgers from wherever. I've actually never really been a fan of fast food because I grew up around, people who cooked, chefs. I went to culinary school. My dad was a chef when he wasn't truck driving. But this was my life. At my highest, I was a size 52. This was my 20-year high school reunion, which was May of last year. This was 1 week before surgery. I got to go meet Mr. Jeffree Star from the beauty industry. This was 2 months ago. I was in Washington. This is the same day 2 months ago in Washington. No, I do not wear Spanx or anything underneath my clothes. I have a bunch of friends. We all had the surgery on the same day. They all wear Spanx to like cover all of this stuff. You can see how low my skin hangs. I'm not interested in that. I bought a bigger shirt. They told me to put my hands on my hips so you can kind of see my waistline. It is what it is. This is a shirt I'm actually still wearing this shirt. I like it because it's so super baggy, but the damn thing goes almost all the way to my knees. This is the shirt that I was wearing the day of surgery, and this pictures were taken yesterday. So, and there's my scale from a week ago. So, surgery, some people say, easy way out. It's definitely not an easy procedure at all. It's not easy at all whatsoever. If you have, there have been people that have reached out to me questions about the surgery. I actually used to work for the surgeon, and I am a medical professional, a licensed medical professional. So any questions that you have, I definitely can answer. Get with Tom. Whatever. Okay, so the surgery, it's a mental thing. It is a mental thing. You have to go into it knowing that you are about to fuck your world up. And you have to be mentally strong and prepared to do so. If you are not mentally prepared to change and alter your life completely, you will absolutely fail. I do know plenty of people, even family members, that had the surgery done and years later gained all their weight back. And it's because they just weren't ready to make that change. I never had a problem with food. That's not my thing. I was bed rested for the majority of the last 10 years. I was on so many steroids for my lupus, and then the medications that I was taking for like my I guess do not disturb doesn't want to fucking work. That's okay. But anyways, I was on certain medications. Those medications cause side effects, so then you wind up putting more medications for those side effects, and then those side effects, and it's just this fucking snowball effect. And before I know it, I had a big old fucking recycle bag full of medications. That was my medicine bag. That was my life. And back on Facebook, with the day that I actually got to dispose of all of those drugs, and the cops came and they take them and dispose them, they grind them, do some kind of weird shit with them. I actually filmed that whole thing and did it live. It was amazing. But when you have bariatric surgery, it kind of forces you to go on a keto diet because our stomachs aren't equipped to eat things like bread, pasta, rice, any kind of like grainy, anything with gluten in it, because it expands in your stomach. It makes you feel full when you're really not. And then you wind up overeating because you're constantly thinking that you're hungry and you're just really just not putting the right stuff in your body. Our bodies solely with bariatric surgery demand protein and high fucking amounts of it because we're not getting minerals and nutrients from foods that we can't process anymore. Our muscle density starts to depreciate immediately. So, um, you're kind of forced to go on the keto diet. And I've been keto for the most part. When I was on the Mentor truck, I really didn't have a choice, so I would pick bread off. I did what I had to do. But on my own truck, the only thing I needed to give up was potatoes. That's fucking hard, man. But now that, I'm completely keto, I have been completely keto now for 33 days. I can't even imagine picking up a potato chip, a French fry, a baked potato. Like potatoes are just I don't even crave them. So I'm loving the questions about keto, how I do it on the road. I did leave my Instagram public because there's nothing personal about me on Instagram. So you can't really stalk me or my family on Instagram. So a lot of you have found me. A lot of you are enjoying the food that I post. Everything that I post on there of food wise is from my truck. Um, so if you're interested, in the description of not this video, but my whole channel, my Instagram handle is on there. You can go find me. I've been featured in the Houston newspaper, and I've also been featured on my surgeon's website. I've lost 150 pounds in 1 year, and I'm not even close to being finished. I have a goal, and I will meet that goal. And 6 of those months out of that year have been sitting right here behind this wheel. So it can be done. Is it easy? No. The minute I woke up in recovery, I regretted my situation, my decision to do it. You literally can't fuck it up, at least in the first year to 2 years. You will throw up constantly. But the things that you have to give up eating, your family acts a little weird, going out to eat can get a little interesting in the beginning. But I'm a year in. I know my limits. I know what I can eat. I know what I can't eat. I know what messes me up. I know what doesn't. And it just takes time. And for those of you, there's a couple of you females that have had bariatric surgery that have questioned, can I come into the trucking industry? Um, Absolutely. It was one of the things that allowed me to come out here physically. I'm able to do it. I don't have any medical restrictions. I can climb in and out. I can actually climb in and out of the trailer now without using my stool. The ones that have the little ladder on the back of it. It's not like a real ladder. It's just like an extra step. I can just hold on to the bar, and I'm strong enough now to pull because I've been climbing in and out of this fucking truck for months. So it can be done. If you have any questions, I can talk to you as not only as a patient, but also as a medical professional. And you can DM me on Instagram. So that is all I have to catch y'all up with. I'm still running my miles, still doing my thing. I'm East Coast right now. I did go regional, but uh, I did go regional. Now, granted, there's 12 states in that region, but I just came from doing 2 deliveries in 2 states that were not in my region, but it was the weekend, so I got fucked. And then they were still trying to send me to to Maine and to New Jersey, and I was like, look, this is not anywhere near my region, nor is Virginia or West Virginia. So, got a lot of stuff to work out tomorrow. And like I said, my next video will probably be tomorrow night or Friday, and I will catch y'all up on what my decision is. And my advice to y'all, if you have any kind of situation, like I said, I don't have any of the issues that a lot of other people have with Swift at all. This is something completely personal and something that nobody could have ever predicted. The regional thing, I guess it's just a work in progress, a kink in the system. I don't fucking know. I'm going to figure it out tomorrow. But again, I'm not doing this to put food on my table. All of this money is going into account for something completely different. If this is your livelihood, don't settle for anything other than what you are willing to accept for yourself as a person. Like, don't lower your fucking standards because any company tells you, oh, well, this is how we do this, this, and this. With your CDL, you have the power to demand things, and you should. You sacrifice way too much to be out here. If any company that you're with is offering you anything other than the best, and you're living some mediocre, I get a lot of these, I only make $400, $300 checks. That's some bullshit. My 15-year-old son can work at McDonald's and make more than that a week. Those are facts. So your CDL, you worked hard for it. You earned it. And again, the sacrifices that we make to come out here are not worth $300 and $400 checks. When I hear this stuff, I'm just like, my fucking jaw hits the floor. Like, there's no fucking way I would be out here if that's what I was making. Like, I wouldn't be out here for $700 a week. Like, I had a goal. I have to stick to that goal. And if I had some of these problems that y'all are having, yeah, I wouldn't even be having conversations. I would fucking park my truck on the side of the road and go home. Um, so I know I haven't answered all of the questions. but that is the general one. Everybody's so interested in the pay. The pay is what it is. I came in at 41 cents a mile, $3,000 sign on bonus. I don't know if that's still a thing, but as you can see, I don't have a problem with the miles. Sometimes the time window gets on my fucking nerves because they give you way too much time and then it's like, oh, well, it's strict and this and that. And sometimes my miles fall on different pay periods when they all should really be on the same week. But my team has worked on fixing that, so it's not a problem anymore. But I speak up. And yeah, it pisses people off. But I don't care. They're not the ones in this truck away from their family, their animals, their life. This is not my life. Trucking is not a lifestyle for me. Trucking is definitely a fucking job. I don't want to be a trucker in my everyday life. That's just not who I am. That's not who I came out here to be. I came out here, I worked my ass off to get into this industry just like everybody else. I run my miles, I work my ass off to the best of my ability and overachieve at everything that I do for a personal goal. Yes, that offends some people and they say that I'm making a mockery of their industry. And to that, I say, go fuck yourself. Like, honestly, I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks about what I say or do or have an opinion about trucking as a lifestyle. If you want to run around looking like a homeless person with a trucker hat 24/7 and that's your gig, you do you. Boo, at the end of the day, I'm going to do me. And I'm just not about that life. I wear makeup, I fix my hair, I dress nice, I live in a nice fucking predominant part of Houston. My kids go to private schools. Like, that's my life outside of this truck. In the truck, I don't give a fuck what I look like because I'm not out here to impress people. But don't come at me with I'm making a mockery of your industry. It's a job like any other job. You do it or you don't. So, obviously, a lot of stuff on my mind in the last few weeks, and a lot of fucking just sandbox bullshit going on that I just I'm not interested in tolerating at all. And I don't make these decisions just because it's Swift. I would make these decisions and have made these decisions at every job. I am the type of person that will not, how can I put this nicely? I can't. Say I work at fucking McDonald's. Well, let's use Burger King. That's where I met my husband. We both worked at Burger King way back when. We've been together 18 years. We both worked at Burger King. People, when the district managers come in, everybody's like, oh my God, Sonny's here. Let's get it together. Let's pretend that we actually do what we say that we do all the time. Me, I make up my own uniform. I don't wear ties, didn't wear fucking hats, didn't wear slip resistant shoes because I'm an Adidas shell toe skater chick. I had my piercings in, wasn't going to cover them up, and I definitely wasn't going to cover up my kids' names on my, these are my kids' names on my neck. I wasn't covering tattoos. And this is back in the early 2000s where, this was all taboo. I wasn't taking off my nails to be extra sanitary. I just wore gloves. I've always been that bitch that breaks the rules. I don't break the rules to be that bitch. Life is too short to be constricted. And if I feel that you're constricting me or trying to make me conform, it's a surefire way for me to tell you off, and you just don't want that kind of drama in your life because I'll create it. So, my advice to those of you who are making $300 paychecks, you never get to go home, or you're spending your whole fucking weekend sitting at a truck stop. You don't have to tell any company, whichever company you're with, you don't have to tell them to go fuck themselves, but I would. But you definitely don't need to be there. Higher your standards. Demand the same way any employer is going to demand things from you, which nobody should demand anything from anybody. We're all here just trying to kick it in life until we're not. But while they're making requirements, we'll say that, you need to have some requirements slash standards of your own. It needs to work both ways. This whole hierarchy of the fucking I'm the head here and I have seniority. No, bitch. We all wake up. We all get dressed the same. That is my way of life. That is how I run my life. That's why I work better being my own boss, which is why trucking works really good for me. And when I do have a problem, I punch it in this little machine, and when they don't answer me in a timely manner, I pick up the phone and fucking call. I know they're busy, but you know, if a day or so has gone by, I'm gonna fucking call because you ain't that fucking busy. So I'm not gonna go back through because there's so many fucking comments that I'm just, my brain is not there right now. So I know that that was a big thing. It's real simple. If you're uncomfortable, you don't like your situation, change it. Don't wait for the system to change for you. You can request for it to change. If it doesn't change, fuck it. You move on to the next one, especially in the trucking industry. I'm not one for job hopping in the same industry. I've been approached by plenty of people from other trucking companies here, and there's one that sounds really fucking good. And if I was to go to another company within the same industry, it would probably be that company. And I actually know a lot of people that work there that, and I've questioned people, and yeah, I think that I would do that. But if I leave trucking, I'm just going to leave it altogether and go back to being my own boss. Go back to working 18-hour days on a TV set somewhere, but I don't have this nonsense going on. I don't have this. And I don't have people thinking about, investigating, trying to come up with a solution when it comes to my family's safety. So, we'll see what happens. But from the looks of my demeanor and my attitude, I already know where my mind is at, but I do like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I do like to hear their side of the story. I like to try to understand where people are coming from. That's the mature thing to do. That's the responsible thing to do. And more importantly, it's the professional thing to do. So, we'll see what happens. So, I will let y'all know. In the meantime, this bitch got to go to sleep because I got to start driving at 1 o'clock in the fucking morning. Peace out, y'all.